one. And we are recording with Clay Martin on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024 at 12:09, 12:10 p.m. Eastern Time. In the description is his Twitter, Wrath of the Wendigo. I always fuck up the name of that. Prairie Fire, Concrete Jungle, and your newest Barbarian Spirit. And somebody actually texted me. They're like, I didn't know that Clay was a doctor. And I was like, what? I didn't realize in the title.
Oh,
I found an old title. I found an old like an old like because I just copy and paste old titles. It's
yeah.
easier. And I think in one of them I had written like Dr. Clay Martin, just like fuck off.
Oh, it's because I talk shit all the time about having a
Well,
PhD in counterterrorism from the University
yeah,
of
so I
Baghdad.
responded and I said, actually, and then I went and edited the title. So now you're General Clay Martin, MD, JD, PhD astronaut. I looked up, there isn't an official abbreviation for astronaut. I thought there would be. So this is General Clay Martin, MD, PhD, JD, astronaut, counterterrorist, and play girl model. So you have all the clout. So I'm just gonna fuck off. But no, so your book, and as I told you beforehand, I haven't read it yet, but I do love it because I've had a couple, very intense, only a handful of psychedelic experiences between 2013, 14, 15, 16. It was over 4 years. I had about five experience. And that's really all I needed. But I mentioned you with Alman Hillman, and I sent that to you, and you're like, this guy's fucking awesome. And then
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah, so I'm gonna shut up. Clay, tell him about I think everyone knows who you are. Tell him about the new book, and then we'll just fucking jump into it.
Okay. So yeah, this was fucking wild. And also, if anybody hasn't watched the Evan Hellman episode, that is the best episode of not just this podcast, but any podcast I've ever seen. I watched it twice. Shit that I never do. The dude is fucking unreal.
That guy is so fucking.
Oh, dude, he's so
He
fucking
has
talented. I
the
love him.
coolest voice in the. He's Terrence McKenna as like a surfer. He's like,
Right,
listen,
right,
man, like
right.
you take the DMT, dude, and these people, you would dig deep into the heart, man, and you would see that we are not just matter, dude, that we are run by a totalitarian government of fascist demon pedophiles, man. Fuck them. Just kill them all, man. Just kill them all. I don't need to know why. Kill them all, man. Eat 10 grams of mushrooms, dude. Go kill a horse. And you're like, fuck. You didn't even know you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
You're like,
Fucking
I'm
get it
in.
on.
Let's go. Let's fucking rock, dude. If you start a cult, I'm in.
I'm fucking down. Right, whatever it fucking takes. So yeah, in line with that. So the new book is about my experience with psychedelics, which is it's not like I'm a fucking expert in anything. I like 9 months ago I had my first experience, and it's been weird. And it's actually kind of crazy that this came up this week, right when I published. Somebody just brought up there's a news article about SEAL suicide, SEAL specifically. That's who they
Hmm.
studied, and all this crazy shit about the concussions and shit that they're taking, not only from like the obvious ones, like you were in a fucking IED or you got hit by an artillery shell or some bullshit, but the training shit, breaching charges to do all the time indoors, or weapon concussion when we're like, practicing in a fucking, not crazy intense bullshit, just day to day shit. Anyway, they basically did this long study and basically proved these dudes' brains are like, I mean, they're fucking toast.
Yeah.
They're melted as fuck, and that's something like inside the community that we've known for a long time, but we haven't really been able to address because there was no science behind it. We just like we knew it, like, hey man, our guys are let's like all fucked up when the war's over, and it's not like it's from PTSD and shit like this. Just
Well,
I gotta,
it's literal shell shock.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
The
Yeah, it's written,
actual damage
yeah,
of brain tissue. It's not.
right.
It's
And
PTSD is
the
one thing, and it's very real. Actual shell shock is that's another. You fall 10 floors and you're like, I'm
right,
fine. They're like, you gotta go to the hospital. You're gonna be bleeding somewhere inside.
right, right, no,
Yeah.
exactly. And this is also shit that we kind of like all kept from each other too, because of the way that the symptoms show up. So, like you call your buddy and, we're having a thing like this, but we're just bullshitting. Like, you're not really going to tell them, like, hey, man, I'm a fucking disaster. How you doing? I'm great. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm going to go back to the gym tomorrow and, fucking, and then, talk about other shit. We're not the kind of people that, kind of, bitch and moan about our problems or our fucking aches and pains anyway. So it took us until a lot of us started getting like a lot older to be like, hey, man, check it out. Like, I'm lethargic. I don't want to get out of bed. I got no fucking drive. Or when they started checking like our testosterone, I found out that almost all of us were these, masculine fucking door kicker ninja motherfuckers or whatever. Most of us have testosterone like we're a 65, 70-year-old man
Hmm.
when they actually, and so these all have like these super negative effects. So anyway, I was very much like scared of like the psilocybin. And this has become like a new treatment, but not a lot of guys will like admit to doing it
Hmm.
because there's most of us that had security clearances for fucking 20 years. Like we never had done drugs beforehand because you couldn't
Sure.
get a clearance if you admitted it. And a lot of guys won't talk about it either because they still think they're going to do or are still doing some kind of
Contracting or something.
something where you have to have a clearance. And so it's kind of this like hush hush, like nobody really like talks about it. And I actually didn't get to the place where I was willing to do it from my own guys either. I got to it from clients, from like a lot of my guys that I teach shooting and shit like that are like super successful businessmen in like weird fucking industries and shit. And I would be around these dudes, and they're all talking about like their psychedelic experiences and how it like helped them. And you could look at that and be like, well, let's see, these motherfuckers are all successful. They're doing really well. They seem to be pretty fucking happy with how things have played out. So it took about a year. My shit was like sitting in the freezer because I was fucking terrified
Yeah,
of fucking taking it. Yeah.
dude,
Oh yeah.
I had like 90 false starts when I was coming to first do it. It was I'll tell my first one after. Keep going, keep going.
No, no, it really is. It's fucking scary. And there's actually kind of two unique fears that go along with it too for like my guys. And it's funny because after my own experiences, I've started talking to a bunch of other guys now, and these two fears consistently come up. One is that like, okay, we're all fucking murder machines for lack of a better term. We are hyper tuned fucking killing machines, and all of us have this thought of like maybe pouring like a mind altering substance on that is like a bad idea, right? Is like shit could go like wrong, is what we
Sure.
think. Yeah, if you've never done it, you're like,
Well,
oh fuck, man.
it's
Well, they
the
told me,
trope of the, take acid, jump out of a window. It's like, well, what if he gave acid to Dale?
right.
You're like, no, he might not
Like,
jump out of he might actually kill an entire city. Like,
right.
yeah, no, sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a legitimate fear. And the other thing that scares dudes from my community a lot about it is, especially when you talk to the guys that are into this space, like shamans or healers, whatever other shit, they're always talking about the drug and it's going to like help you get in contact with your emotions and all that, which is all good stuff. It's all good stuff, but that does also sound scary if you're a different kind of person. So a lot of guys, and this is a legitimate fear that I had a little bit on the back burner too. They're like, what if I take this and like I turn into like a little bitch, actually? Because I'm like so now in touch with, what if it takes away that like killer
That
instinct and shit that
edge.
I've got, that edge? Yeah. What if I turn into, how did one of my buddies phrase it? I mean, fucking impeccable fucking resume as a fucking killing machine. He's like, what if it turns me into a, how did he
Tree
fucking phrase
hugging
it?
faggot.
Oh, it was really close to that. It was like a prancing little faggot or some shit.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
gender fluid stop oil movement
right.
just
I can't kill
dipshit.
mosquitoes anymore because they're one with the
Yeah,
life and everything.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
everything's good. My trust fund dad cut me off, so now I'm sucking off a blistered dick under a highway overpass. But hey,
right,
let me tell you how I'm better now.
right. Exactly right. No, it's exactly fucking right. So anyway, yeah, man. So like a lot of dudes, I finally, fucking found the nuts and took like my first fucking dose and arguably best things ever happened. It's been great for me. But that led me down a series of like I think it's six or seven now, varying doses of up to like five grams and down to like 1.5 grams. And it was kind of I would say unique. Everybody's mushroom experiences are unique, but it was kind of even inside the scope of what's normally looked at as unique. What the things that I saw and the things that happened to me were kind of unique even within that context, and that's basically all what the book is about.
In terms of like I was, I mean, I can kind of relate to that because like in college, I was the most like hyper straight edge. But
Mm-hmm.
it's because I was just such a fucking idiot all my life. But then like my sophomore year, I just snap pre-med, like fucking working out at 5 a.m. Like really just went to like number one party school in the nation, went to like one football game in 3 years, was just that guy. But like I knew as time was going up because I still meditated every day. And I knew as time was going on that I was less and less happy with the idea of being a doctor. And I was like, well, how much? And then you start to go in, you start asking the uncomfortable questions. You're like, do I want to be a doctor? Or do I want my parents' approval? Do I want society's approval? Can I cover up all of my own flaws with a white coat and go, well, it's Dr. Carey, you know? And it's,
Right.
you know, and then
Yeah.
you can go down to the whole it's self-love, accepting yourself, whatever. And every once in a while I would go get fucked up and, would rip like a gravity bong after. And I would just get like, I couldn't just watch the movie. In my mind, I'd be like, am I happy? Is this what I want to do? Is this really where I
Yeah.
want to go? And then I remember the day I took the MCAT, it was like a week after all my friends graduated. I had to do another semester, and I aced the MCAT, and I remember I came home and it was like the apartment was empty. It's not like they were all coming back. It's like no, college is over. And then I just had this feeling of this is what deathbed regret must feel like, because it dawned on me. I was like,
Right.
I cannot. It's not like I'm a freshman and I go, hey, this isn't for me. College is over. Everyone, they're gone, and so I was like, fuck. So I, kind of tiptoed more and more in the weed throughout like summer 2013. And then finally, my buddy who was the polar opposite of me, like long hair, just always just blitzed out of his mind. He was like my chemistry lab partner. His name was Ryan. He'd always be like, I can get you,
Ironic,
but
actually.
yeah, he'd be like, yeah, he'd be like, I can get you some mushrooms, man. I always be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, this war on drugs propaganda.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be jumping out of a and then
Right.
finally, and people always said that you should do it like when you're in a good state of mind. I didn't. I did it as like a fire alarm. So I just graduated. It was December 2013. I just started dating a girl in like my first serious relationship in my life. One brother lived in one state, the other two lived in other states, parents in another. I had just gotten into med school down in Miami. Girlfriend still had another year in Georgia, and it was just everything was going in. And then on top of it all off, I don't even want to fucking be a doctor anymore. And I'm like, all this stuff, and I was just like, let's shoot the flare up. And I think the first time I did it was only like 2 or 3 grams, but me and my buddy went up into the woods, North Georgia, and did it. So the point of all of this is I was so fucking scared of it. I was like,
Yeah.
what is this gonna be?
Right.
And I remember we just sat there for like several hours just sitting on this. We were just eating these like Subway sandwiches and farting. And like, but I remember we were like watching the trees breathe. And I remember it just came so clear to me that I'm clearly a hard worker and I can achieve goals. Why can't I just do that with something I like? And it was so simple. Like I was just like, like like it was like a couple days later, I like emailed University of Miami. 15,000 people applied, 100 got in. I was one of them, and I emailed them and kind of said like, "Thank you, but no thanks." Like I'm miserable, and I kept having the same thought when I was on them. I was like, I can't believe I was scared of this, and
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's what your
Yeah.
first one was like, but
No,
it
fucking
was I
totally.
can't believe
Yeah.
I'm scared of this. It was
Yeah.
you're just sitting there and you're like, we are so clearly in God's perfect creation. Like these clouds are too beautiful. And it wasn't like I was on like Molly and like everything's great, man. It was like, no, like why can't I just go live a life that I love? And it was just
Yeah.
and it wasn't like it wasn't like hippie commune shit. It was like take that psychopath Nazi blitzkrieg work ethic and just do something you like. And
Right.
like, yeah, but I remember that feeling of relief of going,
Oh,
I
dude. And
can't believe I was scared of this.
well, you're also one, you're so lucky that you found that you came to that point early. Because this is weird, but I've had a couple in my life, like surgeons, like all the way through med school and then surgeon school and then all the bullshit. And they get like, 15 years down the line or however long that takes, and they wake up and realize they don't like doing this. And they a couple of them have like quit. Like they somehow managed to pay off all their fucking meds and they're like fucking them out by guide hunts now or some fucking thing. But that's the point is, yeah, you can't, you can fake it to yourself for a long time, but
Yeah.
eventually it's always going to fucking catch up to you.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I felt the same way. So yeah, I was fucking very scared to do it, but as soon as I did, I was like, oh my god, yeah, this is fucking amazing. And even my first trip could be like described. Some people would call that like a bad trip because it was like some scary shit or whatever. But, fucking whatever. That's what happens. But it wasn't bad for me. I didn't think it was a bad trip. I came out of the experience like one, like holy shit, like this is fucking amazing. Like I feel so much better and I feel so much more connected to things. And number two, I don't know how the fuck people use this recreational because it inspires such like a respect for the drug, for the I don't even call it fucking plant, whatever we want. But such a respect. I cannot imagine taking this drug and like going to a goddamn Fish concert, man. Like
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is
there's
like
no fucking way.
is I'm like, oh, people took this. I'm like, oh, I get it now. Like Nazis took this and were like, let's build a jet engine instead of a propeller. Like that was my feeling. I was like,
Right.
I'd have friends would be like, we're gonna take some shrooms before we go out tonight, and I was like, you're like going and sitting at like the top of Mount Olympus with the gods as they're showing you multiple different universes merging, and your friend's like, dude, you want to go to the bar? And you're like, no, I'm trying to like get as much. I'm trying to write it down, like as much as it's
Right.
like, here's where your life is, here's where you're going wrong, here are the people you're hurting, here are the people who are hurting that need your help, and here's how your life can be better, and here's how you can help others, and hey, karma's real, and you've been here before. You just and people are like, dude, dollar beers. And I'm like, would you fuck off? Like,
Right.
right? It's like
No
it's playing
shit.
Game Boy in the Holy of Holies. You're like, dude, like the risen Christ is in front of you, and you're like just scrolling. It's like I don't know what to. I don't think. I don't know. They're on their own journey though. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's all I can think too. It's
Yeah.
it seems fucking insane, but I think that's also one of the things that makes it taken less seriously by like my cohorts and peers or whatever is our only experience for the most part with like people that do mushrooms is those fucking idiots at the Fish concert or yeah the dudes you remember back in college that took fucking mushrooms. Nobody serious that we know is like into this shit. So until you like break through, for me, it was like get around like those successful business dudes. You're like, oh,
Mm.
okay, all right, this is not like a loser's fucking drug, and this is also something that can help you and can do serious things. You just have to treat it as such.
I think like subconsciously, one of the things that got me towards it was like while still before I ever did them was reading like this just little blurb written back when he was still alive, Steve Jobs, saying taking acid and lying alone in a field was the most important day of his life.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
no, that's yeah,
that guy started Apple, like
right,
fucking Apple. And he's like, no, psychedelics opened my mind to see solutions to problems that I didn't even know the problems were there, let alone the novel solutions. And then you're like, oh, okay, there's something to like maneuver from there. And then I mean to and then so like let's talk like bad trips. Like it's always easy to say when you're out of one, but like there is really no such thing as a bad trip. It's beneficial. And now I
right,
have had like bad, never with psychedelics. I have had bad, like I get it. Hey, I get holding on to the couch for dear life, praying. Like I know that like it's fucking over. I get seeing your own funeral in your mind's eye. I've been there, but like they all, if you listen to it and you heed it, you
right,
can, like you can maneuver from that. And I think like for me, my second trip was a year to the day of my brother's suicide. And like when I told my friend I was doing that, he was like, You're gonna break." And in my mind, I was like, well, if I can survive this, I can survive anything. If I can take psychedelics 1 year, it's been 10 and a half years, and like I still have like troubles with it. On
yeah,
1 year, I was like, let's do it. And I did. And I just remember it was just this overwhelming feeling of like he's okay and he's where he's supposed to be. And it was like you can't bring him. It was there's no delusion. It's not like you can bring him back. And there wasn't even
right,
like a guarantee of like you'll see him again one day. But it was
right,
just like don't worry. Like, and then it was very grounded. It was like you can and will still mourn, but it was like he's where he's supposed. He's not in pain. So remove that from there. You know, he's not in
yeah,
pain. You can still be in pain. That's fine. But so for me, it was now like this sort of like colliding things at the end of college. And then it was on the 1 year anniversary of my brother's suicide. And, one's a fluke, but two, I'm like, no, I think this might be how you're supposed to take, like, for me at least. I
yeah,
feel like you got to
yeah.
be, what is, what are the fucking
Set setting
set
and
and setting.
whatever
Yeah.
other bullshit. Yeah,
And I was like, okay, sure. When do you pull a parachute though?
Right. Yeah, no shit, right?
In a
Yeah, that's a good
limousine,
analogy.
or
Yeah.
when when the Ford jet engines are on fire, you just got hit by a Stinger missile. You know, that's how I've used them, and it's not right or wrong, but for me, that's kind of what's helped me kind of edge through the trauma. So I don't know. So what was your like second one like?
Oh shit, I gotta think back in fucking
You know,
time.
we can grab
Uh,
anything. You don't have to go in
oh
order.
yeah.
I'm just
Well, yeah, no,
say whatever the fuck you want. Actually, I don't even give.
yeah,
You
all
don't
right.
even have to talk about shit. Just stop it all of a sudden. Like,
Well, so the weird thing is, I had my first one, and that was kind of like for me, and I didn't really know where the fuck this was going, but it did some stuff for me. But the thing that happens after you take mushrooms for the first time or any kind of psychedelic, I assume, is you immediately want to tell like all your boys about it because you're like, this
yeah,
shit was fucking awesome.
God's real. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Hey, shut the fuck up. And you're just like,
right,
and then you become the asshole. They're like, yeah,
right,
dude, I get it. I get it. Life's beautiful. Mother Nature's real. But we're gonna all gonna go try to get laid. And I'm like, no, we gotta talk about.
right,
You're like the whales are alive, and they're like, yeah, I get it, dude. I've been there. It's just, and then
right,
you become the dick.
right. That's exactly fucking right.
Yeah.
So, so it's I've had a number of people like turn to me though over that, and a couple was even just like Twitch, like your opinion like changed like overnight of what the fuck the thing is, and like a veteran buddy be like, fucking pillheads or some fucking mushrooms are stupid or whatever bullshit, and fucking get his DMs like, hey motherfucker, like maybe you want to step up, and he like immediately admits like, yeah, I've got some in the freezer, I just missed. I'm like, oh fuck, I knew it, motherfucker, right? Uh, but the one that was
This is
big
this
for
is this is your version of Dateline NBC to catch a predator.
yeah, exactly,
You show up and
exactly.
you're like, "What were you doing with this bag? I thought you didn't like psychedelics." And he's like, what are you doing with that tie-dye tapestry? You just coming to hang out? Uh, what are you? Ooh, is that a book of mantras? What were you really doing, bud? What were you really fucking doing?
That's exactly fucking right. It's exactly like that. And a couple like my close buddies though, um, earlier this year, or yeah, fucking winter this year, they're like, finally kind of like listening. And there was also buddies like close up, like I could tell like this shit was fucked up, but I didn't know what or how to help them before. Well, now I do. Now I got a fucking weapon. So so talk them through it, and I'm like, hey man, like I get it, and I really get the fear too, because like I said, like we said before, I had that in a big way. And also when I did mine the first time, I did them alone, which I guess is kind of like a fucking no amongst the like professionals, but whatever, fucking worked out. So for a couple of my buddies that I knew were in a fucking bad place, I was like, hey, look, dude, I've done it now, and I've done it a couple of times, and I will come to you, and like we'll do this thing, together, and I'll be the fucking the guy or whatever. Make sure you're fucking all right. And so that really changed it for them too. Something about like being honest, it's like it's really hard to go to like, I don't know, some fucking nerd that as a PhD in fucking Greek poetry or whatever bullshit that has now become like the fucking spirit guide, because he doesn't really get it. All right, he's not really going to be like in the same place. So I took a couple of my buddies that were really fucked up on like the fucking spirit journey, and seeing how much it helped them was like, it was kind of more impactful seeing how it helped them than it did me. But it's been fucking crazy.
That's and then that's where like so yeah, at first you have the whole like I have to tell everyone. And
Right.
then and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it might take a couple months. For me, it took like a year, but then you realize like no one wants to hear your shit. Or as Ram Dass says, don't proselytize to those who don't want to hear it because number one, it's immoral to do that. Number two, they can't hear you anyway, and
Right.
it's like so just shut up. Um, it's like a reverse dog whistle or something, and then so like but as it goes on and you do start to realize like no there are and that's the other thing is like it shows you something but I think what was it, Alan Watts, once you get the message hang up the phone. It's you the way I describe it is like you have to use what you got from it, and
Yeah.
it's like if it's in like the civil like it's like you're in the Civil War, right, when they did like the first reconnaissance hot air balloons, and you go
Yeah.
up in a hot air and there's no skyscrapers back then. At best there's mountaintops. But imagine if you went up over something and it changes your entire life. You're just walking down the street, you got trees, everything's some people are a little taller or shorter. Maybe you go up on a hill or something, and you see something else abstract, like another hill. Imagine going up above like your town or something in a hot air balloon, and it's like 1860. And you're like, you see this weird perspective of the roofs, and as far as you can see, and like that's all well and good. But you have to come back down now and draw a map and use that map. It won't do it for you. You can go back up a million times. If you don't start, you have to come back down and be like, okay, this is what I saw. I didn't know there's a river over there. That's probably gonna, if that overflows, that's gonna destroy the church. So maybe we need to move. Like, you have to work with what was given to you. It doesn't
Yes.
just, and that's, to me, that's what kind of makes them even more seductive is it's not horseshit. You down a couple of shots of liquor, any occasion is fun, right?
Right.
And that's kind
Yeah.
of cheap. It's fun, but it's
Yeah.
cheap. These, I think, what makes these more, what makes me respect psychedelics more is like it takes you up in the hot air balloon and shows you your life, and then you come back down and you can ignore it, or you can go, all right, how do I start making actual changes in my life,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah, our mutual friend Tucker Max calls that doing the work. Like you do the work part that comes
Yes,
with like first you get like to see the cool shit, but then you have to do the work part too.
yes,
And that's something that takes a little bit of time with the psychedelics to understand too. Is that with however the drug speaks to you, this is what it did for me. Was I had to go through like three like serious journeys and three minor ones to get to this certain point, which basically told me to write the fucking book and lay all this shit out. Well, you know, I like psychedelics now. Like I like them. Like I would do that for fun. Like
yeah,
if I could.
yeah,
But the weird thing was when I didn't do the work that I was supposed to do that was shown, I basically, for lack of a better word, I got banned from the spirit world. Like you
mm-hmm.
can't. And like I tried once or twice, like a copious amount of drug. Like, no, man,
Bouncer won't let you in.
yeah, exactly. No, like you can see rainbows and shit, but fuck you. You don't
Told you
get to
where
go
to
back
go
in.
buy. I told you where to get your ID renewed. You can't come
Right.
back in anymore. You're like, dude, come
Exactly.
on. And it's like, no,
Like, no.
it's so easy. You just go get your ID renewed and you can come into the party. And finally, you're like, I guess you're right. Right.
Right. I will go to the DMV and stand through the
I'll,
fucking line, do
I'll
the
go fucking
bullshit.
do the thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you have to do the work. And
Right.
it's, I'm trying to remember. So then, like, the next time I did I think there's like one or two more minor trips in there. But I think the next time I did them was the fucking like Godhead one I told you about, and where that was is I don't even tell people because it's not like believable, so I don't even say it. But I
Yeah.
it was so
Well,
much fuck. I tell people that, and they're like, "How are you alive?" But the thing is this was like 2 years after my brother's death, and I had become very suicidal, and I had started to think. I was like, "Well, I got to start to get very real." And this is when I was an atheist. I was like, "What if hell is real? If I do this, I might be getting like skinned alive by demons." Maybe it's nothingness. Maybe it's reincarnation. And I was like, oh, I don't like those ideas. And it was like, well, if you're contemplating suicide, you have to start, a dog is a big responsibility. Are you sure you want the puppy? I was like, well, I don't know if I want. And it's like, well, you got to think about this. So then it dawned on me. I was like, well, why don't I just try to travel as far away from this planet and in my mind and see if I'm okay with that? And so that's why I went on the heroic of all heroic journeys. And I think what finally came to at like the peak was like, well, what suicide does to people because you survived one. And it was like, okay. And it was like, you can leave if you, and it wasn't like scolding. It was like, you can leave if you want to. Like, you don't hurt anyone else, but, if you want to come home, God will let you come home. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was like, but you did choose to come to this life with all of these setbacks. Like, this was part of like the pregame huddle. This wasn't woe is me. It was like this was designed. You went here, you went here, you went to med school, you lost your brother, and you came here for a reason. if you come back, you just have to do it again. And it wasn't like, again, it wasn't like a scolding, you're stuck in reincarnation. Like if you die, you're just gonna start over right now. It wasn't even that. It was like you don't have to play the game. But remember, you did start the game for a reason. And you might go to the afterlife and be like, fuck, damn it, I always fucking tap out at 23, like fuck, like, and again, it wasn't scolding. It was just like you are gonna hurt a lot of people, but it was like you can go if you want. But you did come, and it was kind of like, so why not ride it out? And
Yeah.
and I remember I was like, okay. And so I like texted my mom like when I could use a phone again. And
Right.
basically, because everyone in my family is extremely worried about me, and I was very combative and angry and just fuck
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a bunch of drugs and like, but I remember I finally like I sent up the flare that like couldn't be taken back. I like texted my mom. I was like, I need you to come get me. Like I'm not okay. And once I did that, there was no taking. It's like firing a nuke. And
Oh yeah, no, fuck
my
no,
mom
yeah,
was
it's
on a
on
plane in
now.
like an hour, flew down, grabbed me.
Right.
They they're like, we'll get
Fletch
your
got you
shit.
through
We'll
you on
get
a
your
plate. Yeah.
literally. It's like yeah, when they grab Dick Cheney, like the Secret Service had like, and I remember like the next day I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go. And I was like, things are in motion that I can no longer control, right? Especially
Right.
having
Right.
already lost a son. My
Oh
parents,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, it's
it was
fucking
like, it was
over.
like, it
Yeah.
was like, it was like blue team go, like doors for each other. They came and got me. And I went and lived at home for 5 years in my late 20s, 600 miles from where all my friends were. Girlfriend left me. I don't even blame her. Real piece of shit. But the point is when I had made that decision while peaking,
Yeah.
once I did it, it was almost like fireworks went off. And it was like, you did it. Like, it wasn't just to have the realization, it was like, shoot the text. And like, I shot the
Yeah.
text. And then it was like, fuck yeah. And then, and I don't ever bring this up because that would just sound absolutely insane. It literally, this was in 2016. It literally was like, all right, so it was like your girlfriend's gonna leave you, you're gonna lose all your friends, like, like your grandma's gonna die soon, your dog's gonna die soon, and you're gonna go through a ton of failures. But at the end, and it was like you're gonna do like a podcast and it's filled with laughter. And I was like, well, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want any of that other shit. And sure
Right.
enough, one by one, these things happened. And at home, I was doing like I was showing you, I taught myself graphic design, and then I finally started the show in like 2019, and like the exact thing in my mind's eye of like banging a table and like two people through a screen laughing has come to pass, and now it's also connecting back to the first trip of like because for like 2 years after my first trip, I did lose the edge. I put
Yeah.
on 70 pounds, 70.
Oh,
Long,
fuck,
greasy
bro.
hair, dude. On Xanax, on benzos, on everything I could get my hands on, unemployed. And it was like, if you had looked at me before and after, now granted, I also lost a brother in there, you would have said, like, that's not a good drug. And but then I started like as I started to put the pieces together for the podcast, now I'm like the full work ethic again. Now it's the
Yeah.
whole like, yeah, as I'm sitting here in a tank top and my hair is like, I'm a good guy, Clay. And
in
this is
in the
not
fucking
the
hobo lounge.
yeah, I'm like, this is not the episode for it. This is no. This is but like the show I have now where it's like hard work, like like I've had on General Flynn, Mike Lindell, like I've had on all these guys and Roseanne, Dr. Malone, and now it's like the loop is like this, like the circuit or the transistor is like clicked. It's like you did the whole thing, and the only way it was ever going to happen was with total demolition. You couldn't have just jumped from med school to this.
No,
It was
fuck
like
no.
you
Right.
had
It's
to,
like, who
you
the fuck
had
are
to,
you?
you stripped out all the wiring out, you removed all the furniture, you did a controlled demolition, you put it down, the bulldozers came in and removed it. But then once it was all there, it was like, well, now I can start over almost. And it was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I kind of want to do the podcast. And it was like, I had like cleared the lot. It was like now it's just perfectly even, like,
Yeah.
ground to like pour some cement, build whatever you want to build.
You can have the parking lot and the hot dog stand, whatever fucking bullshit
Whatever
you
the fuck
need.
you want.
Yeah.
Skyscraper, football stadium, anything. And it was like, oh. And then, so then you think, well, then that's the end of the journey, right? And it's like, no, now you've done it. You're fine. Now you have to start talking about this, and now you
Yeah.
have to start sharing the story to
Yes.
either with like military guys like y'all, where you guys are, it's selected out of you, it's bred out of you not to admit weakness, or to
Yeah.
just other guys like me who just maybe don't want to talk about it because it's like, it's just, hey, men don't talk about that. And you're like, sure.
Right.
And so that was like my full like thing connected. And it was like an 11-year thing. And but now I go, oh, those 2 years afterwards where I lost the edge, that was temporary. Now I've got the edge
Right.
back.
Right.
So I don't really
Temporary is
know
like
where I'm going with this,
necessary.
but that's kind of
Yeah.
like my, and I
No,
haven't done
no.
them since 2016. I haven't needed to.
Right. Well, there's two important segues that come from that. One, yes, it's to me, it's I prior to ever doing them, I was also like, because you don't fucking know. Like, am I going to get addicted to this like it's coke and I'm gonna be
Sure.
sucking dick for mushroom? Yeah, like
Yeah.
come on. Because again, after the first time, like I can see how that could. I can see where you would want to do this like all the time. If there was like no consequences and I could just have like the magic every night I went to sleep, I would because
Dude,
it's
you
cool
got.
as fuck.
I'm gonna make a note. You gotta like listen to some old Ram Dass lectures. The guy who kicked off the LSD movement with Timothy Leary in the '60s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making
Okay.
notes. Sorry, keep
Cool.
going.
Cool.
Yeah,
No. So so there's that and the but no, it's not like that. Like now it's like when I need them, like they'll call, like it'll be an omen, like it's time. And it hasn't, like I said, it hasn't happened now in like 6 months, even when I wanted to do something different. So it's not like you're gonna end up like a fucking total, chuckle fuck from this drug. The other thing that is very important, and I think this is also why like I was compelled to write the book about this. It's very hard for a lot of dudes that have done hallucinogenics to describe the experience and the effect to other people that haven't. Because I get this now. People tried to tell me what it was like prior to using the drug, and I didn't really get it either.
Terrence
Uh,
McKenna. The English language balls up and rolls off like water from a duck's back. Can't even
well,
touch it.
right. I think this is actually an important thing too. Somebody like Terrence McKinnon, great researcher and did some amazing shit. But he's also kind of a fucking nerd, man. Like I can't relate like fucking my buddy from SEAL Team 60. I can't be like, listen, Terrence McKinnon, like, who the fuck? I shoved this guy in a
Yeah.
locker last week.
Terrence
Like, fuck off. Yeah.
McKenna. I'm in
Right.
Hawaii and we are at the
Right.
counter edge of the new neoliberal movement. And you're
Exactly.
I'm like, all right,
Right.
I need like a pre-med jock retard. Do you have that
Right.
person?
So, well, that was exactly it. Like for my dudes, like they needed a bridge. You need somebody that's known and also that can like translate things into like words that like we're gonna under fucking stand, and not write like a 1,000-page tome about the goddamn machine elves or some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know. So I feel like that was a lot of like my compulsion to get it out or to do the piece that I've done, which is talk about it openly. It was to translate it into like a place or a thing that people could absorb pretty short and to the fucking point. They know who I am. They know that I don't speak like a fucking weirdo, and kind of help people on those first couple of steps because the drug does all the fucking work. You just have to be to a place where you're willing to accept that.
And it's that's kind of like it's like the final battle is almost the easiest one. It's like you do everything, and again, you have to, Duncan Trussell said, he was like, no one wants to hear about your DMT trip if you have love handles. Like, like you gotta.
That's awesome.
No one wanted to hear about it now. Now it's versus like if you have some sort of success, right?
Right.
It
Yes. No.
should
Fuck yes.
you have to, and it's all it literally is almost like interpreters. It's almost like you and like you guys are like the terp, right? You
Yeah.
almost have to have that. And in the same sense, I can't identify with you, right? I've shot a gun like 20 occasions in my life, right? I've never, and in the same way, I don't think you can relate to fucking being pre-med at the University of Georgia and losing a brother to suicide. And neither of us can relate to Terrence, and Terrence can't relate to us. So then you start to look
Right.
at it as like, oh, play your position, right? And
Right.
it's
Yes.
not to play, but Mike Lindell, former crackhead, he actually
Yeah.
has a website I didn't know about, and it's designed for that. You go in and you type your age, your background, who you are, and then it pulls up a matching thing. It goes, this guy addicted to coke, and you go, oh, and it's like
No shit.
pre-med southern, southeastern college, and you're like, oh, what? Or it's you're like, I can't do that. It'll be like, all right, Green Beret author. You'd be like, oh. And I haven't checked
Huh?
it out, but he was talking about it on my show last week, and I was like, that's fucking brilliant because you have to have that
Wow.
person, right? So
Yeah.
whereas they can't listen to me,
Right.
they can listen to you. Or if I spew this
Right.
shit to Dale or to Dawn the or anything or
Right.
Dolia, they're probably like, "Thanks, Tommy." You talk about it. There's a different level of
Well,
like
even like my
respect and
own,
connect.
yeah. No, completely. I can tell this even from talking to my boys, like my close boys that I've talked to about it now and actually done trips with. They didn't want to fucking hear it at first either, even for me. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Come on, man, that's retarded. Also, because much like you, like I was the most straight laced guy in like the fucking regiment. Like the fucking boots are laced the right
You smoke
way, and
weed, you're dead tomorrow. Like,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
no, no,
Fucking
legit,
kid,
yeah,
yeah. And then, yeah, now they're calling me SoCal's greatest drug dealer, which is fucking hilarious. But and yeah, it's like a complete inversion. But that to some degree is also what sells it. Like if I'd been the dude like doing closet coke all the years, or like a pillhead, because we do have some dudes that are like pillheads and shit, Green Berets, they're still functional. If I'd been that guy, it would be a harder sell even to like my close guys, like my close boys.
sure. And then it is like not only do you have to do the work for yourself, you then have to do the work even more to where it starts to become apparent. I think Bill Burr said it about like comedy. It's back in like 2018 or something, like before the woke shit really took off. But somebody was like, well, the interview was like, well, I was like a female entrepreneur from like a web 2.0. And he goes, well, you shut the fuck up. No one cares. You got a fucking cunt. He goes, be so funny. It becomes undeniable. And he goes, and then it will work. And Roseanne said that on here too. She was like, a true funny joke. You could tell the most racist, homophobic joke. And
Oh
if
yeah,
it's a real killer,
yeah.
fucking Kamala Harris will laugh at it. If it's a real
No, no, it's
killer,
fucking true,
Greta
man. No, it
Thunberg will
is.
be like, Jesus Christ. Like, and he goes, and that's but to me, like you become undeniable. It is no longer whether or not you like it. And so to me, it's like that's like one of the reasons I like, when I my own ego and I wanted to build, but I'm like my end goal for the and I've talked about before is like years down the road is to like make enough money on this thing to literally I want to open a medical school. I want to name it after my brother, but I want it to be because every school or residency has like they're focused on one thing more than others. I
Yep.
want it to be on like psychedelics for suicide prevention. And I want it to be like
Nice.
go eat a bag of it and we'll go, sit in the woods. Like that works. But for
Right.
people who are on the edge of suicide,
No.
hey man,
Yeah.
in terms of like interpreters,
Yeah.
they need a doctor. They need someone
No.
coming in
Yeah.
with a
Fucking
white
totally.
coat and saying, "Hey, we're going to work
Yeah.
with this. We're going to work with this." And then as it kind of, as they come back from the edge more, it'd be like, "And here are these programs. Like, you can go hang out
Right.
with Clay or you can go talk to Tommy, but
Right.
there needs to be the equivalent of like an ER, of where you
Yeah.
go.
No, that's
Like
fucking
if you've been to
brilliant.
the ER, you immediately start to feel better. You're just like, okay, I'm here.
Yes.
Doctors, they come in, they're like, you're fine. You're literally surrounded by doctors, and you're like, okay. And
Yeah.
that's what needs to be done. So in terms of doing the work, I can't say this shit if I'm 80 pounds overweight and on benzos. Like it's like shut
Right.
up, get away from me. Why are you outside my window at 3 a.m.? I'm like,
Right.
hey, guys, the elves are real. Like, no, you can't do that. But if I
What's yeah?
can
It's
build this
exactly. It's
show
like
up or something, yeah, same thing.
oh, and who are the advocates for pot? All right, there's a bunch of like hyper successful, like fucking Joe Rogan smokes pot like every day. There's a bunch of other like dudes that are hyper successful that are good. That's not what you think of though 5, 10 years ago as a pothead. You think of the guy that's a total fuck up, living on the couch that he got out of the fucking alley in like his mom's basement at 35. Those are not good advocates for pot. That is not even for me. Like now at my age, at 44, if we were 20 years ago looking at should we legalize pot, if I look at that guy, fuck no. But if I can see that it's helped other people or people are successful in doing it, okay, now it's a different animal. So yeah, I see exactly what you're saying there with advocacy. Yeah, it's important. It is. It's important.
And then like obviously talking about it. And another thing is sort of like the vulnerability. And again,
Oh yeah,
it's in the
yeah,
grand scheme of things, it's like it really is like the the hardest challenge is like taking this shit and then starting the work.
yeah,
But what you do have to do afterwards is like you have to be vulnerable, and like that is the price you have to pay to help. Because if you look at someone else and you're like, dude, I used to be a fuck up like you, take these, you'll be better. It's like that's not really
yeah.
versus
No,
if you're like, hey man. I was literally like, hey, dude, I just told like, hey, man, I gained 70 pounds. I looked like Jack Black, and I was on like cough syrup, alcohol, weed, anything I could do.
Oh
I was a
shit.
fucking loser. I lived at home for 5 years. Like, if you can sort of like lower like the almost like the barrier to entry in terms of humility, you almost bring
Yeah.
yourself like low. Like, don't lie to people, but sometimes I'll even bring myself lower. I'll be like, dude, I was so fucked up. Like you're doing better than I was. And they're like, oh. Versus like if you talk down, it's
Yeah,
instinctively
no,
you're
it's
gonna
fucking
reject it. But if you're like
yes, yes.
if you're like, dude, I was there and be vulnerable. Like it's not always, but that's what I do. Like talking about my brother, talking about all this stuff because I know that's what people who are on the edge, I know that's what they need to hear.
Well, and this was a funny thing, man. This is how it went. And this is also part of like the whole thing of like putting it in like book format. So I hadn't really considered this part until so I'm writing, whatever. I go through the fucking third trip and the third trip strike. The first five were like for me. Like I had no idea what the fuck I was supposed to do with this information, but they were like for me and like, okay, you're gonna do kind of do this shit, but I didn't really know how the fuck to do it. And the last ones were like, okay, you're gonna take X, Y, and Z from the fucking thing, and you're gonna turn it into this fucking creation and put it out there. I'm like, okay. So I do that. I do all the writing bullshit, and I'm almost done. And I'm like the clean up your language part. And who the fuck do I get a hold of, or who reaches out to me, but an old fifth group buddy that was like super tight with that I haven't talked to in like 12 years. And he calls me out of the fucking blue, and he's like, "Hey, fucking whatever." And I start talking about fucking psychedelics, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And this dude had been like 10 times further down the fucking road than I have. He's done like all kinds of shit, but it was important that I talked to him. He was the only other guy I knew from the community that had like really taken the steps. I just hadn't heard from him in 12 fucking years. So I sent him the book to like look at first. And like one of the first things he says, he's like, "This is fucking wild. This is ballsy because this is like some serious like soul bearing." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, it is." Like I had not even like considered
Oh,
that
you're
part
you're
of it.
showing your jugular.
Yeah, no, big time, because there's some fucking vulnerability baked in there. But I'd been so like involved in process that I had not really considered that ramification of it. As soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh fuck, like this is like." And so you go through the whole thing like, God damn, do I really want to fucking like
You
put
just
this out
gotta
there on
send it.
Front
You
Street?
just gotta send
Yeah,
it.
you
Yeah.
exactly you do. Yeah, especially
Put
somebody
it
who
in the
told you something
breach and
like,
close it shut.
right, right.
You do.
And yeah, no, you do. You have to, but it is like a big stop. And like even my wife yesterday was like, "Well, now your mom's going to know that you do drugs." Like, God damn it, yes, I'm 44 years old, but
But
kind of,
but
hey,
that
fuck
comes
it.
to doing the work though then. I remember
Yeah,
like, my parents are, Republican boomers but then they kind of see where I mean, my parents say that we never thought you were gonna live on your own again. And we were okay with that. I was so fucked up. And like now they look at it and if I say, well, it all started with this trip, they look at it a lot differently now. Like,
right,
for the privacy of my parents, I won't go into like who they are, but
right.
it's like it's the equivalent of like Bill O'Reilly talking about mushrooms. Like that's where I come from. And but if they see where I am now, they're like, that's something. That's something.
Yeah, right. That's
And like and then so that then you go, well, shit, I'm being vulnerable, right? And you do
right.
put it out there, right? And you know, you do always have to know that it can and will be weaponized against you.
Of
Like,
course. Yeah.
people all the time are like, your show sucks. So I'm like, I don't give a shit. Every
Fuck
once in a
you.
while,
Yeah.
I'll get like an anonymous email that's like, your brother's burning in hell, and I'll be like, but I'm like, the amount of people I know I've helped by being vulnerable about that
Oh
far
yeah. Yeah.
outweighs the, do I want to go and kill them? Sure.
Right.
But it's like,
You also
I,
have to gain the perspective of anybody that like that's their hobby, like they are
well,
in a
and then you go,
miserable,
where is
sad
that
sack of
guy
shit.
at?
Yeah, dude, he's in a fucking
Well,
bad place.
and then you start going, man, maybe I should pray for him. Who the fuck
Yeah,
says that?
yeah.
Right. And
No,
it's,
you.
And I really do. And then you go, well, what if you're so vulnerable that it ends up being like the death of you? People use it, and it's like, well, then you have to start looking at it and going, okay, well, what is my life worth?
Right.
What do I have? I had a good time? Yes. Have I loved others? Yes. Have I laughed and cried? Sure. What are you trying to do by being vulnerable? What is the end result of this weapon you're deploying? Well, I'm trying to show others that you can get help, to speak up before it's too late, recognize the signs of suicide in your friends or yourself, and maybe we can start to push it forward in decades to the point where we should get to a point where getting psychedelics for depression and suicide is as normal as, like, putting
Aspirin.
legitimately, like, yeah, I have a headache,
Yeah.
take one.
Yeah.
And like, and then you go, well, if I can help move that forward, how
Yeah.
many multitudes of generations of people don't have to lose a brother or be the one that goes through that hell?
Right.
And then you go, yeah, that's worth my life. You go,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
worth
Fucking
my
absolutely, dude.
life.
Yeah. Fucking absolute goddamn one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. Dude,
Yeah.
I had in that same vein, just like about 2 months ago, I had a buddy that was like on the edge. Like he was going to fucking off himself. Like it was like, he said that, like he means it. Like, when people mean it, especially people that are killers, like when they mean it, they mean it. And yeah, so I fucking showed up and fucking, fed him some goodies out of fucking, the fucking magic bag. And he's better. He's not like all better. He's not like, fucking, he didn't go cure cancer the next day and then fucking start work at NASA, but he didn't go over the edge and it did help him. And he's like on the upswing now. So yeah, man, and that is how you have to think about it. It's like, that's the guy that I knew. All right. If talking about this shit and put it out there and opening myself up to fucking whatever comes from that, if it could help, 10 fucking 15, 20 fucking other randos, it was worth it. It was absolutely
Mm.
worth it.
And then one thing I always try to do is I try to put like a face on the opposition to whatever it is I'm doing. In that, like, it's not just, are you going to be vulnerable? Instead, I like when people be like, you so many podcasts, you had, all these doctors on talking about COVID. It was like, it was all good, and I'm proud I did it, and I don't regret any of it. But it was less of like, I'm a good person, and more of like, if I ever like doubted something or was like, I can't believe I got banned from YouTube, this is destroying my show, I would just look at a
Right.
picture of Anthony Fauci and I'd be like, I'm like, that little faggot's really going to try to put you in a locker. Like, he's gonna give you a swirly. I'll throw that motherfucker like a shot put. And it was like, keep doing the episode. So like, one thing I try to do is I try to look at like vulnerability, and I'm like, who are the people that take advantage of that vulnerability? Those are demons. Those are like
Yeah.
fucking black-eyed, black-mouthed demons. And then you look
Yeah.
at them and you're like, dude, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off. Or, and then you can do the opposite. You can be like, your ancestors are smiling upon you. This is your war. 1,000 years ago, their war was, chainmail. 10,000 years ago was rocks and clubs. Yours right now is being vulnerable on a show. Like, this is your thing. And like, they're all cheering you on. The demons are pissed. It's like, put a face on it. And I think that's one way to go about it. And so, kind of like the zoomed out picture now, just wanted to pick your mind on it, is like, I always think about, and I try not to get lost in it because it is too big of a picture. Um, but I always think, like, if this stuff got legalized, like,
Yeah.
if it changed my life the way it did, what are like the societal reverberations of that? And then what are the reverberations when an Elon Musk takes it, or a
Yes.
senator, or like a fucking, like a
I don't think with
DOD
Elon Musk,
official?
that's a fucking theoretical with him. That's a
Yeah,
fucking fact, I'm sure.
of course, that guy's fucking trip dick. You don't do the shit he. We're gonna put a
Right.
chip in your brain and have internet from orbit from self-landing rockets. You're like, I didn't take that much, man. But like, do you, and but I try not to get too sucked into it because I also don't want to fall into the, is this just a repackaged communist utopia? Things will be better if. So
Yeah.
I try not to go too far down there. But what are your thoughts on that in terms of like society, like state, nation, international?
It's it's one of those things. And I try to be too much of a fucking hypocrite on this. I have to look at anything like this. Like, well, should fentanyl be legal? Like, maybe there's some fucking side benefit of fentanyl I don't know about. I don't fucking think so though, or heroin for that matter. So I think it's one of those. The way of saying it is, it has to be moderately controlled. I think it doesn't need to be like for instance, like I don't think that like my 7-year-old kids have any fucking business being anywhere near this, or 16 or 18. I feel like there should be like a almost like an age cap of somewhere between like 17, because there's like depressed teenagers and shit like that. But it should almost be, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maybe almost like a prescription drug, but one that's like relatively easy to get. You know what I mean? Like fucking Prozac now, or Xanax, or something that you don't have to go fucking take like a bazillion tests to get. I don't think it's one of those things that you want the populace just going to Walmart buying a
No,
fucking Funyuns bag of, because it is dangerous. And
no, I should
I
have
mean,
clarified that's
yeah,
not what I meant was more of if you want it, you can go seek it out without risking being in jail. I think that's kind of more what I meant. Like you can go
I
get a prescription for it.
yeah, no, I can totally see that.
Like
Or I hate the medical industrial complex, so maybe not quite close though.
in the
It should
same
be
way, I can go buy like corporate weed here in Maine,
yeah.
or it's just I don't do that. I now know that it's not illegal to get it from my cousin who grows it in
Right.
the fucking woods, right? So I almost think that's like you almost have to take the two together. Not I don't mean
That's true.
literally ingest them
Yeah.
together. I mean I think the way you sort of Trojan horse it is you tell Pfizer they can make psilocybex or something trademark.
Dude, I'm
If
actually work. This
if the
is
sorry, if the luggage is that it's decriminalized, you let them
I
get
can
their
see that.
nut, but it also means you can just go get it from your
I
buddy.
I actually am hyper concerned about exactly what you said there though. Let's say that this becomes legalized in a fashion of like Pfizer makes some synthetic bullshit. I don't trust those motherfuckers at all not to fuck this up,
They will
especially
intentionally
because
make it a bad trip.
oh yeah, exactly. Yes,
They
and
will
especially because this has
intentionally
put them out of business. Like this puts all the antidepressants out of business in a short period of time. They're not going to do that without some kind of addictive quality or some other bullshit.
unless they can fucking chart it out and go, it will put all these out of business. What if we get there first? It'll also put everyone else out
Maybe.
of it. I think you almost
Yeah.
have to, it's like what Terrence McKenna said about fear. He goes, fear is an animal. Keep a shotgun trained on it and let it pull your chariot. If it turns on you, kill it, but don't kill it outright. Use it.
Yeah.
I think you
I can
take the
see that.
money incentive and you go, let them make it. Let them
See what
make it.
happens.
So it's also decriminalized, but also put it in like a corporate raider sense. Be like, you can put AstraZeneca out of business. Fuck them. And they're like, we can. You got to like pull the Wolf of Wall Street guys in and be like, oh, you want mushrooms? I want shamans. Like, I want, and they can have their quarterly profit. They can
Like,
still have their penthouse.
they
They
got
can
they
still
got
go fucking
the
snort
fucking
Vicodin.
rock dressed up as a shaman selling their bullshit on
Yeah,
Fox
fuck
News.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. They're fucking soulless demons. They'll do it. But they won't know is it's actually will be their own suicide because no one will take anything you make anymore.
Right.
I
Nothing.
think you got to
Yeah.
sort of like lure them into the mousetrap.
You got to make sure it sticks though. And next thing you know, you got fucking psilocybin with fucking MNRA in it and shit. Like, oh fuck, god damn it,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
got
no,
us.
no, don't ever, no. But that's kind of the funny thing is anyone that ever takes this will be like, I'm not taking the Pfizer one.
Like fuck all that. Like hell no.
But you wonder, you're like, what are the? I mean, I guess I look at it in terms of like, isn't it what is it like any like revolution? It's only ever like 3 to 5% of people, or
Yeah,
isn't that like
that's
the
true.
number or
Yeah, it's like
something?
yeah.
I don't know if you even need every human
No,
having
you
some
don't. And
heroic trip. Like you
I,
might
I
just
don't even
need.
I don't even know if some people need it at all. Maybe they're just like in their place and they're doing good and they don't fucking need it. But yeah, I think it's actually an unstoppable train now, though. I think that it's gone so far off the rails as far as like performance goes. Same thing like microdosing. Like I did
Silicon
some
Valley.
oh yeah, well dude, I
Oh
did
my
some
God.
microdosing based off of that. And
Yeah.
one thing that I learned, this was fucking real weird. First time I did it, I had to teach a pistol class that day. I was like 3 times as good as normal. Like I
Oh
I
well,
was
it enhances
as a
contrast and
performance
outline
enhancer,
detection.
holy fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys got like the best deal of their fucking life. They didn't even know it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And every time I've done it after that, if I'm doing a microdose, I try to schedule it so that, like if I'm teaching that day, I make that microdose day, and it is fucking insane the
Te-
performance edge.
Terrence McKenna talked about it. He was like, this theory about apes, the stoned ape theory, where they ate all these
Yeah,
much. Their brain doubled in like 2 million. The brain grew the equivalent of like 500 million years in 2 million years. And it's what was
yeah,
this from? And there's mushrooms, and people are like, well, if you take mushrooms, just lie around all day doing nothing. And he's like, not if they didn't have access to heroic doses. They might have eaten a little bit, which enhanced edge detection. Well, what's edge detection? Finding edible plants and finding predators. You instantly jump to it. That to me seems like something that would enhance natural selection.
me too. All bigger than shit, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think that's kind of like it's a fun idea to play with. What are the societal impacts? But I try not to let it. I'm like, what can I do? Don't
Yeah,
don't you don't start looking. The world will know peace. No, no, it won't. It'll be better. It won't be
right.
at peace, but it'll be better. And that's kind of how I look at it. So I'm like, all right, we'll bring it back into like my immediate surroundings. What can
I,
I
I
do?
I think here's where it goes as far as like impact like we can make, like people like us. Uh, there's already been a couple of VAs that have used in mushrooms specifically because Paul Stamets is involved in the
Mm-hmm.
like the clinical trial stuff. There have been a couple of VAs already that have used psilocybin specifically for both PTSD as well as like just general neurological function stuff. And so it's kind of starting to accelerate that way. And then, off the books, I've known, especially now that I talk about it, a shitload, probably like 15-20% of like soft veterans, like once they're retired, like out of the shit, have done some variant, DMT, ayahuasca, whatever bullshit, for healing. So it's coming. Is that once that hits like a critical mass of like this is one helpful and two, especially like talking about microdose and shit like that, like a competitive advantage. That makes it get out of the deal. Just the competitive advantage part itself, like it could be $1,000 a gram. People are gonna buck and buy it. That's just how shit works.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is kind of getting to an unstoppable point
Very
where,
quickly.
yeah, and and then it's like it might not even be like, well, what happens when Elon Musk takes it? It might just be like we might not know the effect of like reducing national suicides by even 5%. Like, how do we not know that that we've had this like chain around our neck for all of human history? Not even like currents, just like general suicides. Let's just from dawn of time till
Yeah,
now. We might not even know that we've been training with like a weighted vest. Like, and what do I mean by that? Well, for every person that is extensive trauma to their siblings, that is unimaginable trauma to their parents, what if they leave a wife and kids behind? What's the impact of, and not to sound like some fucking psychopath, but what is the legitimate economic impact of that? How many of them are no longer working? How many kids are failing
yeah,
out of school because mom's a wreck and dad's not there? How many
yeah.
of them go down that? Like, it might be like we might not even know that we're walking around with like a 90-pound vest on us, and it might just be like you don't need Elon Musk and the president to take mushrooms. Like if there's just a slight reduction in suicides and it's perpetuated, how many more people live loving happy family loving happy lives
Right.
with families? How many people instead of dad took his life, what if it's mom and dad or grandpa's now? And then you start getting into like population replacement. You're like, how many nuclear families haven't been made because there's been some cataclysmic kill shot somewhere? And what does
Right.
that mean? And how much better is the community? How many? And then out of there, how many? Only 1 in a million people are impactful entrepreneurs. Well, what if you now have an extra 50 million people from nuclear families that were formed because there weren't
Yes.
suicides? And then you go, oh, that's 50 more Elon Musk. And you're like, oh, it might be something like that. And in which case,
Yeah.
what we're doing is the single best thing we can be doing.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And it's like anything else too. Like you make the impacts that you can. If I get to impact, fucking five people, all right, fuck it. That's five more than would have gotten impacted. Cool. All right, I've done my bit. I'll try to make it more than that, but I also don't got to be the Rock, fucking dressed up like a shaman, fucking handing out mushrooms, fuck Fourth of July parade.
I
That'd be cool, right?
I
That's
I hope that's what comes to pass. I hope that. What if fucking Trump does shrooms? What if Trump goes into the fucking White House with like turquoise beads and like a mantra rosary? Like what happens then? The U.S. Air Force is simultaneously deploying airborne psilocybin across every continent starting now. Like,
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
that might be the move. I remember I was telling that to my mom once, and I was a crazy person because it's like as she was driving me to therapy at age 27. But I was like, what if he did release like psilocybin on the entire planet? Like, what if he did dormant psilocybin, like COVID or something, like where it incubates, and then you put it in like all the world's air, hey, FBI, put it in all the world's airports or something, and then like I'm like, and then like you put, I don't know, put a 30-day incubation period on it, make the whole world, and then you use, I don't know, you use Starlink or something to hit an activation frequency and everyone trips at the same time. And my mom was like, well, that's crazy. I'm like, well, the current like status of stability is we have like thousands of megatons of warheads pointed at one another that come in at Mach 23. It's like, I don't know if this is that much crazier. And she was like, your father and I are worried. Like, all right, noted. All right.
Right.
But,
No shit. No
I don't
shit.
know. But and we'll wrap it up in a second. I would say like last in terms of like so all these things are like you kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger pictures. I think the biggest one is the one I had while I was peaking on that like pre-suicide trip. And it was basically, you know, God loves you eternally. And uh you chose to come here. So you can't blame anyone else. But it's also not that serious. And you can always come back and play the game again. But you did choose to come here to learn this. You took OChem for a reason. You took whatever the fuck a pistol class. You wanted to learn how to shoot. You can quit. You don't have to do it. And if you go out shooting other people, like no, you're gonna burn in hell. But like if you want to check, like God loves you, and you are his perfect child. You can come home. And then it's like, well, then what is all of this? And it's all of this is just a. This is just a this is like the earth is like one huge training course. It's like one huge gun range. And it's like you're learning the lesson that you want to learn. And it's not all, it doesn't really matter. If an asteroid hits it, it doesn't really fucking matter. We'll just make another one.
Right.
But that was
Right.
kind of like
Like
my meta picture. It was like it is a simulation, but not in like the cold nihilist sense. It was like it's a simulation created by the gods that you go into to learn something. If you have eternity, if you are trillions of trillions of trillions of eons old, if you've been here since before the galaxies existed, yeah, an 80-year life isn't a whole lot of you go, yeah, I'll try that course. What is it like to be pre-med at Southeastern College? Lose brother Seuss, I do this, start a pot. Yeah, I'm interested in that. That looks like a cool course. I'll turn up the difficulty. I want to try, and you're doing yours. You're doing like, all right, fucking hardcore, SF, and then we're gonna do a 180, and then your player's gonna become a shaman. You're like, I'll try that course. That was kind of like but ultimately it was like, God loves you, God is all knowing, God is all powerful, like accept his love, and like it was also like evil's real. You got to give it the middle finger, but God loves you, and you don't take it too seriously. That was kind of my like I've never gone like higher than that. I don't know it's above that. So like in the wrap. So what are your thoughts on that? And then we'll wrap it up. I'm in no rush. Take your time. I don't care.
no. My trip was significantly different than that in that it in the conclusion. Uh
Well, I know
yeah,
yours is like no, this
yeah,
is a battle of this is end times, which is why I want to hear
yeah,
it.
yeah. So there's a lot of crazy shit in there. But basically that was what came to is like fucking call it what you want, Ragnarok, Kali Yuga, fucking Armageddon, whatever bullshit.
Revelations, yeah.
Yes, we are on the cusp and it's going to happen soon in cosmic terms. What the fuck that means? 50 years, 5 minutes, one or the other. But it is happening, and it is a war that can be won or lost, and it's a cycle, and it happens over and over and over again. And eventually, we should fucking win, but it's not a guaranteed outcome. But what we do does matter. Uh, and yeah, it's kind of a lot to fucking take in, but yeah, I felt pretty positive about it. I felt good. Like, okay, this is a fucking good message.
I don't. I actually don't feel that was entirely too different from mine. Because if it's a cycle and it happens, so let's okay. So I'll devil's advocate my own, right? I said don't take it too seriously. No, losing a brother is a very serious thing. Like it's, a bad dream. It's a dream when you wake up. When you're in it, it's real. It
Right.
is sincere. Children being raped,
Oh
a
fuck.
simulation. That's real. demonic terror. It is very
Yeah.
it is as real as it gets, is what like it's as real as it gets. God loves you, and this has happened before and will happen again. And it does matter. The suffering is real. I don't mean to like lighten and be like, no, man, it's all fun. No, no, no. Pain, suffering, genocide, rape, mutilation, war, that is real. It's very real. And there are true demonic forces. But in terms of like you said, it's a cycle and it's happened before. That's what I mean in terms of like, well, then why do we keep doing it if it's a cycle? And it's like we're here. Are we becoming? Is this school to go from human to saint? Where you come around and help a society, and then after you've done played the saint role for 100 lifetimes, after you've been Saint Thomas Aquinas 100 times, or whatever, do you become an angel? And is there another level above that? Do
Right.
you start ranking up more? Like, and then you're like, well, wait, then what do you mean rank up more? How big is the game? And it's like, well, if God created it, it's not the size of the universe. What are you fucking talking about? This is one conference room. We're in a goddamn office building. You're like, oh shit. You're like,
Oh, fuck.
so I don't
Yeah.
actually don't think they're entirely di different in the broadest sense of it's a
Yes.
lesson. It's here to be learned. The suffering is real.
Yes. There are real opposing forces.
Yes.
How about that? There are different sides and however many factions, I don't fucking know, but there are multiple factions and things are very, very fucking real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you absolutely too. That's one of the things it shows you those. How big is the game? Like, I have no fucking idea. No
Yeah.
fucking idea.
Yeah.
Like bigger than I have numbers for. Like
That's what Ram Dass would always say. Because as soon as you find out how big it is, it's even bigger. It's like he would talk about his guru. His guru is it's just a fat Indian guy named Neem Crowley Baba. This is like back in the 60s. And he'd be like, what is it like when you hit enlightenment? And Neem Crowley was like, oh yeah, no, like that was a fun one. He's like, what do you mean? Like that's you're there. And he goes, no, no, no. He goes, human experience is the plains. Enlightenment are the first couple hills, but you're looking off into the distance and there are mountains. And he goes, well, what does that mean? He's like, we got to get enlightenment. So it's like our entire world is like, well, enlightenment's peace. And Neem Karoli Baba was like, that's the literal first step on a staircase. And you go, oh, fuck.
that's the training menu for how to use the
It's
controller.
literally, yeah.
Damn
It's
it.
literally,
Fuck.
yeah, exactly. You fucking turn on the Xbox. You're like, that was a fun game. You're like, we haven't even loaded that. What are you talking about? So I was thinking about that. He's like, he goes, enlightenment is the foothills next to the Himalayas. And you go, oh shit. But so that's what I do think there's a common thread. It's some sort of training ground.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. And obviously we have different perspectives. Literally, special forces versus me, a homeless man. Like we have different perspectives, right? But it seems to be that like the core theme is good is real, Eve is real, God is real, Satan is real, and you are here to learn. This isn't all nothingness. And
Right.
it does seem to go forever, but yeah, you go, oh, you saints and angels. They're like, yeah, they got a high score, and now
Yeah.
they're at the next level, and you go, oh shit. But how else would you gain that wisdom? How else would you be like an
Yeah.
archangel or a saint?
Right.
You ran through the simulation 900 times, and you got it.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
going, what's the level after this? Like when do you
Right.
create your own planet? When do it goes forever. So
Meanwhile,
yeah.
some of us are dumbasses. We got to do this 10,000 times. We're fucking idiots. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is it's like, yeah, no, like you're getting like Clay, who's an MD, PhD to astronaut, you gotta go back to school. You gotta go
Right.
back to
Right.
school. So I don't know. We'll wrap it up. I've got like several links I'm gonna send you, but
Fucking awesome.
we'll part it with and yeah, your book is in the description, but with Ram Dass said, he goes, you're in school, take the curriculum. Stop trying to find out what's the purpose of the school or where'd you come from. So take the course, get a passing grade. And I think that's maybe it, is like you're here. It's not an accident that there's evil. It's
No.
no. Even no, no, no. It's there for a fucking reason. So that's what I think it is. And, maybe on our smaller human scale, it's more, maybe that's not what our goal is. Maybe our goal is to simply like reduce suicides and the feeling of helplessness and the feeling. I only know what it's like to survive a suicide. I can't imagine actually being at the point where you pulled the trigger. That's got to be the most.
Oh fuck, it's
That's
got
got
to
to
be
be like
horrible.
that's got to be like baby alone in the woods, just
Yeah,
desperation,
it's fucking awful.
and
Yes,
that is, yeah, you gotta. That's a noble life cause to try to prevent that.
I agree, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So we'll wrap it up. Clay, as always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate
Hey man, thanks for having me, brother. This is a good
your
one.
many
This is a good
doctorates.
conversation.
I
Many,
appreciate
many doctorates.
your many doctorates, and yeah, man, I appreciate that. It was good. But no, I think keep doing what you're doing. Nothing you need to hear from me, but other people like you, they need to hear it from you. Other like SF, they have to hear it from you. Whereas other people like me have to hear it from me. And it's,
Way things work. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Clay, let's wrap this one up. As always, dude, it's a fucking pleasure having you on. Guys, please go in the description. Please go follow his Twitter. Please go buy all of his books. And and not to quote Ram Dass again, you do need to buy his books because money is real. As Ram Dass would say, he goes, you can be sitting with the mother of light and seeing Gaia breathing. You still need to know your zip code. So, like, all this in conclusion, you go buy the book. Clay needs some shekels, all right? As do I. So, you know, bring it back down to earth. Rent is still real. All right. All right, Clay. I appreciate your time, brother.
I
Guys,
appreciate you, Tommy. Thanks,
thank
brother.
you so much for watching. God